every great artist, and often beside every great artist, is someone helping shape those opportunities. I am thrilled today to have a guest who is a longtime, esteemed, and very reputable manager of New Orleans' very own Soul Rebels, amongst many other artists. He is the man behind major festival bookings and artist strategy. And he's going to talk with us today very candidly about the art of festival bookings and the art of artist management. Adam, thank you for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
All right. So let's get right to the heart of it, my friend. Because you've been in this industry for how long now?
36 years-ish, 36, 37. Okay.
Okay.
Managed to still be alive and making a living.
Which is admirable and very respectful. So we're very, very, very proud to have you here, and congratulations to you on building such a formidable career.
Thank you.
Right. For aspiring managers out there, what is the key to building lasting relationships with event producers and booking agents?
Personal relationships.
Okay.
That's, I mean, of course, to start with, you have to have a band that has the goods. You know, they've gotta have the talent or be something different. You know, and
yeah, because you're peddling them. So if you're peddling like garbage, for lack of a better word, they're not going to even trust you.
Well, and that's it. This goes probably way too old for even the reference, but an amazing agent, Dan Weiner with Monterey, who's probably still in it, but his book Aerosmith, Bonnie Raitt, and known him for years. And I remember, Adam, you have to check out this band Hootie and the Blowfish. And you've never heard of them. You got to pay $2,000, blah, blah, blah. And we did it because Dan Weiner's calling, or any of these agents are calling. I'm going to trust them. If they're going to take their time to bring on a newer band or whatever, well, they're not going to waste their time.
Okay.
So if they're telling me, hey, this is something you need to pay attention to. So same thing with myself, took a while to build, but I'm not going to refer or get behind something that isn't great or different or whatever. So the music, at a base, the music has to be there. And then past that is, and your question is getting them booked on festivals?
Yep.
Okay. So that the talent has to be there. As much as you can, have a personal relationship.
Okay.
The other thing is, and that's whether you're going to go to their festival, or a lot of these people are coming in New Orleans. And if you happen to find that, hey, that we meet, whatever, because there's so much less personal contact these days.
Right.
And the other thing is, that's my old man rant that I'll get into, but it is persistence. What kills me is I'll see hey, did you get on that festival? I sent him an email. I hate that.
That response, I sent him an email?
I sent him an email 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, and I didn't hear back. Okay, so you're done? It kills me. So persistence for sure.
Okay.
My silly catchphrase is persistent without stalking. So I'll always, back in the day when people got on the phone, it'd be like
email.
Yeah. You get with me on that.
I do.
But with that, it was, with email or whatever, hey, I don't have an answer for you yet. If you get a response, so then it's like, when can I check back with you? Check back in a week, check back in 2 weeks. I don't remember anything nowadays. So if I'm on the phone, check back in 2 weeks, I'll go to my calendar and look at 2 weeks, boom, call this guy, girl, email, whatever. So it's that persistence and again, that connection, and it probably relates to one of your other questions, but I think one of the biggest thing that people getting into the business and all can do is get on the phone, because nowadays it stands out.
Right.
If you can get on the phone, it stands out.
Yep.
You can't really get anyone's personality or sarcasm or whatever via email or text.
Yep.
You're also building that relationship.
Yeah.
And the very first thing I do, though, is, I'm going to do this a lot with everybody, but definitely with people in the music business. If I get them on the phone, my very first words are, is this a good time?
Why is that important?
Because they may pick up the phone, they're in the middle of doing something or have to go, or people with families now or whatever, they took your call, but they may only have 2 minutes.
Okay.
So is this a good time? They'll say, yeah, hey, I've got time. Or actually, I'm on my way to the show, or I'm here, or I'm jumping on a plane, or my kids got whatever that is. Okay, when can I get back to you?
Okay.
You know, because that way you start talking, whatever it's about, and they're trying to get off the phone.
Right.
So that negates a phone call. So
Getting
I think that makes a big difference.
Thank you for that. I appreciate getting that permission is really important, and it shows respect. And I've been on the end of that where you ask the question and they're like, actually I don't, but what is it? And
Right.
you got like a half a second to get it out.
Which is fine, yeah.
And then if they're interested, they're like, oh, well, hold on.
Right.
That can wait. What do you know what I mean? So.
Or they want to talk to you, but they literally don't have time to, hey, can we talk tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon or whatever that is.
Okay.
So I think that makes a big difference.
Adam, what skill sets do you think are valuable for aspiring artist managers to have? And I ask that from the seat of being an adjunct professor here in the College of Music and Media.
Right.
We have many students who are aspiring musicians themselves, and they have friends who are their artist managers. You know how that goes when you first start. So what skills do you think are needed when you are trying to be an artist manager? Or for artists who are looking for, like, I'm gonna get my friend or get my mom to do this, but like what skill sets are needed? You know what I'm saying?
Communication, as we were just talking, you know. So the basic skill sets, I think, for anybody in this business is the communicate. And that doesn't mean, look, when I say get on the phone, that's if you can, and that's starting the relationship out or whatever. But for any kind of, you know, email, I like email because it's right there in front of me. I can follow up. Also, when the rest of my family's asleep and it's 11 at night,
right,
I can follow up. Text is great for instant, you know, answers, all of that stuff. Also, email's easier to keep track of.
Right.
So that's just the and response. You know, whatever that is, it's a call, a phone call, an email, a text is. Don't ever take longer than 24 hours to respond.
Okay.
You know, you don't have to do it in a minute.
Right.
But just, even if you don't have time, okay, I'm busy, I'm whatever that is, just respond, you know. And I'll even do it when I'm starting a relationship is, hey, I always respond for the most part within this time frame.
Why do you say in particular 24 hours though? Why can't I wait, you know, a week to get back to sleep?
Because then you don't give a shit. Oops, sorry.
No.
But because you don't care. If you're waiting a week, then it's not important to you.
Got it.
And it's such a fast-paced thing, and especially if it's trying to get gigs or whatever that is, you're one of 10 other bands trying to do that. So, and it's just how it should be in business. So what I'll say is, hey, if you don't hear from me within 24 hours, resend the same email or the same text or whatever.
You put that on your Outlook automatic reply?
No.
Or
when I'm starting a relationship.
Oh, starting the relationship. Okay, you tell them that. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Because automatic reply, that's impersonal.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. We're all figuring out. I mean, there's so much over messaging these days.
Yeah.
I'm like, was it a DM? Was it a message on LinkedIn?
That's what I'm saying. That's why I like it on email. So I get. And then the other thing with managers starting out or people in that, you have to have these skills. Like, I don't know a ton about. Of course, I know what social media is and all that, but I don't know all about the algorithms and the posting and the videos and all that. I don't have to. I just need to know the person who does know that.
Okay.
So you don't have to have all the skills, but you have to have people around you or that you can connect with who you trust and then who have those skills.
Got you.
You know?
Right.
So you accelerate at same thing with bands starting out. I think it's great when a band starting out, usually out of necessity, they're self-managed.
Yes.
So, and hopefully if the people within the band have got the skill set and the bandwidth. One band member handles merchandise. Another one is booking the gigs, whatever that. And usually it's more one person in the band that is starting to take all that over.
Right.
You know, just because it's out of necessity. But if you're starting out doing all of that, then you know how that works. So when you bring on a manager that's starting to help with the gigs or whatever, you kind of know what that process is. So you can keep an eye on it. On the finances, same kind of thing. With merchandise, you know, same thing, all of that. And then it's like you're aware of how it's done, which lets you figure out, is this person doing a good job or whatever. Also hopefully stops you from getting screwed on business, on whatever that is.
Yeah, it's not really a bad idea to start off self-managing. I will say that.
A lot of people have to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, they get a lot of the artists. My father was a musician, and I used to work with a lot of artists, and you know, back in the day and stuff. And a lot of them just want to do the creative part of it.
Well, and that's what it should be. Okay, that's what it should get to.
It should get to.
Right.
But to your point, like if I don't know some of the ins and outs, then I won't know how to best. I won't know if this manager is representing my best behalf.
Right.
The accounting part, and I get you may not have the skill set, but just if you do it even for like a year,
right,
you at least know a little bit enough to ask the right questions.
You have an idea, and then before I told you I managed Walter Wolfman Washington, who booked him for years, and then finally we sat down, and I was like, look, it's a crime that you're not putting out the records you should, or playing I was like, look, let me handle all of this stuff.
Okay.
You know, get your bank account, get you caught up on tax. Your job, and especially with Walter, he was in his late 60s at the time, your job is to make great music, perform great music, and enjoy your life. That's in his older years. Now with the Soul Rebels, been doing for a real long time, but same thing, and again, they're very aware and all that, and you know, it's an 8-piece band, so you have certain ones that pay more attention than others. But ultimately, I want them creating the best music they can, putting on the best shows they can, rehearsing. It's that whole creative side.
Right.
And let us handle everything else, because at the end of the day, that's what makes it. If they're not being their best at the creative side of making music, then what am I doing?
You won't even get a contract to manage.
Yeah.
Many of our viewers are emerging artists or new managers trying to get in the business.
Right.
What is one piece of advice that you'd give for building a successful and sustainable career as an artist manager?
The personal contact and getting on the phone. Persistence and follow-up for sure.
Okay.
And honesty. You know, which is, it's rare I wouldn't say it's rare in this business, but dishonesty is pretty prevalent. And I've seen it throughout the people who, whatever that is, you know, and a lot of those people get farther quicker, you know. I've got to sleep at night. I got to look in the mirror, you know, and the only thing I have is my word and my reputation.
I want to punctuate that because you talked about it earlier about the brand, right? Like, well, I mentioned earlier you, Adam Shipley, as a brand.
Right.
You are making a phone call to the Jazz Fest organizers or to ACL or whoever. They're picking up Adam Shipley's call.
Right.
And they expect something in particular from Adam Shipley. Now, if Olivia Scott calls and she's not as reputable, they may not answer that call, but they know Adam Shipley is going to call, and there's something they expect from that. So I think artist managers, as much as you all are behind the artist, that you have to build your own repute as well.
Absolutely. And again, it's my word.
Yeah.
You know, that's all you have. And so it's the same thing with people coming up.
Yep.
Be honest, make good on your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Think before you say you're going to do something to make sure that you can do it.
That's it.
You know, because a lot of time you get caught up and you're like, oh, I'm talking this, I'll do this, yes, you know, and have, when needed, the power of no.
Yes.
You know, but you're new in it, you, you do everything you can. And the other part is if you can, like I said, with the bands aligning, up and comers aligning themselves with more established bands.
Right.
So people getting into the business,
Yes.
if you can align yourself with established people, whether it's me or the folks at Jazz Fest or at Tipitina's or whatever that is, try to align yourself with those people.
Yep.
And that may be just like a perfect example. A guy named Reed Martin.
Yep, I know Reed from Frida.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Mid-Citizen and all of that.
Yep.
So Reed graduated Loyola, Loyola Music Business.
Yep.
And was our very first Loyola Music Business tour manager. But he had graduated, honors, all of that stuff. And a friend of a friend knew him. He called me up and he's like, hey, I want to get into this business. I graduated Loyola. I don't care what I do. I just want to be part of it. At the time, I was helping a friend promote. There was a kids show called Yo Gabba Gabba.
Okay. I remember
Okay, right. Biz Markie was on it and all of that.
Yeah.
So I was promoting a show at Mahalia Jackson Theater.
Okay.
And I had thousands of postcards to put out. And I was like, you know what? Come on. Get these out through the city, blah, blah, blah. No problem. Did it. Okay, what's next? So I was like, okay. And then, whether we needed merch sales or whatever, but he was, I don't care what it is. I want to do it. I want to be in with this.
Right.
So then I knew okay, well, here you, guy that just graduated, doesn't care. There's no job below him, whatever.
Right.
Same thing. Return phone calls, return text, emails.
Yep.
So then I could depend on that person.
Yes.
So then our tour manager was leaving.
Okay.
He'd given his notice. We're at Bonnaroo. I'm there with Reed. The Rebels were playing. And I was like, hey, man, we might have a position available. He's like, I want that job. So with him, and with anything, you can't learn honesty and follow through. But if I have those qualities with whoever, everything else can be learned.
Correct.
So you can learn how to, and now, so he became our tour manager. And with especially the younger ones, I'm like, I'm giving you this opportunity. You need to give me 3 years. Okay? Because I'm going to open you, you're going to travel nationwide, worldwide, get all these connections. Also, I don't want the tour manager that wants to be our tour manager 10 years from now. Okay? Because then it's not fresh. They're not enthused. It's all of that stuff.
Right.
But and again, you can ask that of someone straight out of school or whatever that is.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm giving you this opportunity, and it takes 6 months just for them to be second nature on stuff or whatever. And I jokingly call our band one big dysfunctional loving family. Okay. So learn all the band personalities, all of that stuff. But I remember Reed coming to me and saying, well, man, we need to talk. He had just become our best tour manager. And he turned Frida's whole career. And Tim Capel turned it around. Yeah. So, but that was the same thing of he got to have all of this knowledge. And now we've just going on our 4th tour manager. Okay. Who will be 4 Loyola music graduates in a row.
What?
Yeah.
Shout out to Loyola, Kate Duncan, and the whole college of music.
That's it. And
the School of Music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was our one who's leaving now, a great guy named, Benjamin Deitch, I met him while he was still going here to see through pandemic. Okay. And that's also how Screen Up did. He called me from Miami. There was a professor here, Lindsay Adler. She's like, this guy won't leave me alone, can you? Like, okay. So we spoke in, I don't know, whatever it was, October 2020. He was going to be coming back here in 21. So 2 months before, I was like, you know what? Call me January 10th at noon, okay? And that was in November. So he's like, okay. Noon, January 10th. I get a call. I was like, okay.
Wow.
Because and even when, if people send me their resume or any of that stuff, half the time I won't respond to the initial email.
Right.
Or call, because if they don't get back to me, they're not serious.
Skillful artist managers.
Yes.
There's a way in which you have to manage the reputation of yourself
Right.
and that of the artist. And sometimes, like, you know, the easiest thing to do when an artist lets you down is just be like, oh yeah, they're usually late. Like, did you tell them the venue? Like, yeah, they're usually late. I'm so sorry, but you're trying to cover your own arse, if you will.
CYA.
Your CYA, but you don't want to like totally.
No, well, I've been through that. Hey, look, when I first started managing the Rebels,
Okay.
you know, and you have to be, usually there's a good reason why something happened.
Okay.
Okay.
Start with the truth, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Okay.
Or a version of the truth.
Okay, a version of the truth.
Okay.
Okay.
That where you're not, depending on what the situation is.
Okay.
So you're not, and again, I don't lie, but
Yep.
you don't have to give up all the facts.
Okay.
Okay. So whether they're, you know, and sometimes it would be, there was a personal situation or incident, you don't have to explain what that was.
Okay.
Okay. And so it's communication.
Okay.
And also as honest as you can be, because for sure, and look, it's now we've been working with each other for, like I said, 16 years.
Right. Almost
But
2 decades.
Yeah, there were some roller coasters at the beginning.
Yep.
You know, some inter turmoil with the band.
Yep.
Okay, and some crazy stuff happened, but yet it's not going to stop me from working with the band.
Right.
And everybody doesn't have to know our business.
Right.
So you just couch it in a way where you're being as honest as you can with that promoter, club, whatever that is. Okay, you're still protecting your own reputation.
Right.
And I think part of that is being communicative. And again, that's where, depending on the situation, I get on the phone.
Okay.
Okay, and numerous reasons.
Okay.
But for that personal thing, and I think someone really appreciates that.
Yep.
Also, and not specifically with that situation, but there are other situations where you want to communicate something, but you don't need the world to know,
Right.
or the rest of the business world to know. Well, if that's a phone call,
Yeah.
you know, which, do you have time now? Are you by yourself?
Right.
You know, that's another thing. You don't know who's listening. But whatever you say is between you and that person. The minute it's a text or an email or whatever, that can get sent to everyone, you know, and not that it's something that major. And then you're also protecting your artist. And the other thing is, with my artist, with any of that, or a new tour manager or whatever, communication's number one. I don't mind anyone making a mistake. I mind if it happens twice.
Speaking of mistakes.
Yes.
Have you identified or just seen any specific mistakes that you see young managers or artists make when they're trying to get into festivals?
They're trying specifically to get into festivals
or get bookings in general.
It's the follow-up and persistence, you know, and then also delivering the product that you're promising.
That's it.
You know?
And that's in every product category, period.
Yeah.
So as we close out our time today, Adam, thank you so much again for joining
pleasure.
us.
It's been
I
really
need to know,
enjoyable.
you're 36 years in the game, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us, how do you stay inspired to keep doing the work that you do and remain committed to excellence in artist management?
I mean, what it's always been, you know, one of the biggest inspirations is music.
Okay.
And it is the music and what you're seeing. And look, you get jaded over 36 years. So there's very few bands I can sit through a whole show, okay? It's from start to finish.
Yep.
You know? But there's an occasional one that I'll see that'll blow you. The band that's playing Jazz Fest on Thursday called Sema Funk.
Okay.
It's an amazing band from Cuba. He's like Bruno Mars, James Brown, all rolled into one. He's amazing. He actually lives here now, but 9-piece band, 2 girls on horn. It's amazing. He's playing right before, I think, Stephen Marley on Thursday and has his own show at the Broadside. But we brought him to town I brought them to Tips in 2017, the first time they'd been in America.
Okay.
And it was just jaw-dropping, you know, so you occasionally see a band like that. It's like, okay, that still gives you hope and all of that. And then the other thing, and seeing up-and-coming bands. We've had some that have opened. We've had open for the Rebels, and it's like, okay, it's real music, and nothing against DJs or anything like that.
Yeah.
But it's real music, and it's inspiring. They're really having a great time playing it. And then on the other side, it's like they have, thank you so much for the gig. And I'll always say, hey, look, I'm not, maybe would manage another artist if it made sense. But I'm all about helping all of these up-and-coming artists, especially out of New Orleans.
Right.
Because we've always been known as not having a good business sense in the music business here.
Okay.
And that's getting a lot better.
Okay.
This program at Loyola helps a lot.
Okay, good.
You know?
Good. I've worked in the music industry throughout my career for a long time in New York, Vibe Magazine, Live Nation, Atlantic Records, and all of that.
Right.
And I remember when I was interning at Atlantic Records, we had a huge A&R department. And I watched how the internet, YouTube, whether it was Napster, MySpace, if you remember MySpace, how that almost obliterated A&R. Right. So how have the social media platforms, the discovery platforms for artists, how has that affected your work in the 36 years of you being an artist manager? Has it helped you or has it hurt you in any way?
Both.
Okay.
You know, you may remember, way back in the day, you would have to send a package. So it's a 8x10, a bio, either a CD or a cassette. And when I was first starting out, I would wait tables to support my music habit. But I'd buy Hep Cat labels so I could put on padded envelopes that came to me that I could reuse because it was $2 or $3 an envelope.
Wow.
So, but you would send out, 50 packages, call someone back up. And I remember doing that. Someone said, well, you know what? I mean, look, I remember my first fax, but I remember someone saying, well, this internet thing, well, one day you're going to be able to just send an email that'll have all that stuff with it. It'll have a song, it'll have a bio, it'll have and I was like, God, that's great.
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
And
couldn't even envision it.
Yeah. And even when I started Tips in 98, we would get stacks of stuff.
Yep.
And then you have to go through and all. So it was like, okay, so on one side, that was great. It cuts down your cost, you can get it all out there. It really, really speeds up the process. Then on the other side, and I've always been a buyer through this, it's you watch the transition, but then you start getting bombarded with emails and all of that. And same thing now with MySpace to Facebook to then YouTube to all of that it's mandatory if you're a band. Okay, you have to have a social media presence.
Right.
And so now it's more Instagram and TikTok and all of that. So you have to have that.
Yep.
And but it also so that part's mandatory, and then you'll also get artists that get discovered on those platforms that don't have a 60-minute show or a 90-minute show, or whatever that is. So it's balancing the two.
Right.
And and there's so much more there's so much more competition out there. So many more bands.
Well, I want to add something, Mr. Shipley. I agree. Yeah. There's a lot more competition, but I also think that I want to say this in a way that's respectful.
Okay, that's all right.
I just think that my opinion is that the internet has opened up the airwaves for anyone to say they're an artist.
Yeah.
Right? So you think in theory it's competition, it's just more stuff that you guys have to sift through. Right. But
Right.
it's the competition, I think, is always going to be what the competition is. The cream of the crop's going to rise, but it's just a lot more stuff you have to sift through to find it, I think.
Well, and here's the other thing. There's a great benefit to that because you used to, you couldn't get your music out unless you could book a studio. Now everybody can do it in their house.
Right.
So
right.
that's a huge advantage. So and also I'm saying for the consumer as well,
right.
is you don't have to leave your house to see a great show or whatever that is.
Right.
So there's so many other things grabbing their attention, but at the same time, and why I think there's so many more artists out there, because they have access.
Right.
You don't need, and it's the same thing why podcasts are huge now and the networks are strong, because you can get directly to your fan, your audience, whatever that is, which is a great thing.
Podcasts like Behind the Ad. Okay.
There we go.
So my last question for you is about AI. Is AI affecting you and or your industry, the industry of artistry management in any way?
Yeah, not like it's going to.
Okay.
But it's already affecting it.
Okay.
I can't, is it called Sora or something like that?
Suno?
Maybe, where you can just plug it in and it'll write it.
Yeah.
Here are the words. A friend did it for everyone in their office. They wrote them, birthday song. Hey, here's some fun facts about this person. Make it with a country tinge or a hip hop tinge,
Yep.
and then it's pumping out songs.
Yep.
So there's that crazy part of it.
How does that help you though? How is that affected? It's crazy, but how is that affecting you?
That part, that was just kind of freaked me out some.
Okay.
But on the other side, I've also seen artists take some of that and plug it in to use as a base for them writing a song.
Okay.
Because what someone may have had to have, someone who can play all the different instruments, but it would take them, 10 to 15 hours. But they can just plug that. Okay, have a saxophone play, this part that you can plug it in. But now on the other side is, I feel sorry for the graphic designers I know. So, and there's one guy that I worked with for years that I still do. But very easily I was, again, another guy, brass band. I was like, man, I'm happy to help you.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, you're playing this meaningful thing on Mardi Gras Day. Make a T-shirt. It's the first time your band's doing it. Have a logo on there. So I was this band, the Beloved Brass Band. So I just plug it in to ChatGPT. Make a logo for Beloved Brass Band from New Orleans using the letters BBB. Use a cool 70s style font. Blah, blah, blah.
Use orange and purple.
Yeah, whatever that is, within literally 2 minutes, popped one out with a New Orleans skyline, with all the, took a couple of tweaks, you can add this, whatever. And he's like, we don't have, I sent it to him. He's like, you're an artist too? And I was like, oh, I can't do it. I was like, no, man, that was AI. But literally within 3 minutes, they had a logo. They showed up Mardi Gras Day with shirts that said Beloved Brass Band, so everybody knows who they are. Beautiful. I'll use it I never got a great grasp on Excel sheets.
Okay.
So you just, hey, build me an Excel sheet with da-da-da, boom, spits it out.
Okay.
Budgeting, tours, all of that stuff. So it's going to change a lot. It already is changing a lot of the mechanics of, which, again, once people are losing it takes a lot of the menial task workload off of you. You always have to pay attention to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But an edit's like to write a bio. Okay. Great bio. Here's all the facts. However, you have to edit it so it doesn't seem like just ChatGPT. This show I would promote every year. A buddy of mine would write the press release. He couldn't do it. This was maybe a year ago. So I plugged in the past 3 press releases, added a few new details. One of the best press releases and I edited it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Because now everything is seeming like, so just stuff like that, which I do. I fear for writers and graphics and all that. But I think music-wise, people are always going to want the real deal.
Gotcha. I agree.
They do. They want to see a live show. They want to know that it's because, now you hear they're creating an AI artist.
Yeah. Oh,
you know?
I love some of them actually.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So.
Okay. Yes. I told you I could talk.
No,
forever.
no. Well, speaking of the real deal.
Yes.
You are the real deal.
Why, thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this conversation reminds us that great performances don't just happen. They are built through strategy, relationships, persistence, and vision. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today, Adam. We are so grateful that you came. Your work with the Soul Rebels and other artists continues to lift New Orleans music to the world stage, and we're grateful that you're part of Jazz Fest 2026.